There is a specific feeling that happens when you are reading about AI or watching a video about AI and someone uses a word you do not recognize. You do not stop and ask what it means. You keep going. You figure you will look it up later. You never look it up later. And slowly a gap builds between what you understand and what everyone around you seems to already know. Prompt, agent, hallucination, workflow, generative AI, model. If any of those words just made you feel slightly uncomfortable, like you should already know what they mean but you are not quite sure, this video is exactly for you. I am going to define every single one of them, in plain English, with real examples you will actually recognize from your own life. No jargon inside the explanation of the jargon. No assumed knowledge. No making you feel behind for not already knowing this. And here is what I want you to notice by the end of this video. These words are not complicated. They never were. They just needed someone to stop and explain them properly instead of using them as shorthand for people who already know. That is what we are doing today. Let's go. Word 1. Prompt. This is the most important word in the entire AI vocabulary, and it is also the simplest. A prompt is the instruction you give an AI tool. That is it. When you open Claude or ChatGPT and type something, anything at all, that thing you typed is a prompt. It is your input. It is how you tell the tool what you want. The reason this word matters more than any other is that the quality of what you get back is almost entirely determined by the quality of what you put in. A vague prompt gets a vague answer. A specific prompt gets a specific answer. The people who seem to get dramatically better results from AI than everyone else are not using a different tool or paying for a more expensive plan. They are writing better prompts. Think of it like ordering at a restaurant. Tell the waiter, just bring me something good, and you might get something you love or something you hate. Tell them exactly what you want, the specific dish, how you want it cooked, what to leave off, and you almost always get exactly what you had in mind. A prompt works the same way. The more specific your instruction, the better your result. And if you want to go deeper on prompts specifically, we dedicated an entire video to the 5 specific prompts every beginner should be using right now. It is on this channel, and it is worth watching immediately after this one. Word 2. Model. You hear people say things like, I switched to the latest model, or, which model are you using? And it sounds technical and intimidating. It is not. A model is the engine running underneath the AI tool you use. Claude is the tool. The model is what powers it underneath. ChatGPT is the tool. GPT 5.5 is the model running underneath it, which we covered in a recent video when it launched. When a company releases a new model, they are releasing an upgraded engine. The tool looks the same from the outside, but what it can do has changed. That is why you hear things like, the new model is better at reasoning, or the latest model handles longer documents. They are describing what the engine can now do, not the interface you are looking at. You do not need to understand how any model works technically. You just need to know that when someone says model, they mean the version of AI underneath the tool. That is the whole definition. Word 3. Generative AI. This category term is everywhere right now, and it sounds more complicated than it is. Generative AI simply means AI that creates new things. Text, images, audio, video, code, anything that is generated from scratch, rather than retrieved from somewhere, or calculated from a formula. When Claude writes a script for you, generative AI. When ChatGPT Images creates a poster from your description, generative AI. When 11 Labs produces a human-sounding voiceover from plain text, generative AI. The opposite would be a search engine or a calculator. Those tools find existing information or perform existing calculations. They do not create anything new. Generative AI creates. That is the entire distinction. This matters because it explains why AI can write something that has never been written before, generate an image that has never existed, or produce audio in a voice that was never recorded. It is not finding these things. It is generating them from patterns it learned during training. Word 4. Hallucination. Pay close attention to this one because it is the most important word on this list for anyone who plans to use AI for anything factual. Hallucination is when an AI confidently states something that is not true. Not a typo, not an approximation. A completely invented fact delivered with the same confident tone as everything else the AI says. It might invent a statistic. Quote, a study that does not exist. Name a book that was never written. Describe an event that never happened. And it will do all of this with complete confidence, because from the AI's perspective, it is simply continuing the most plausible pattern. It has no internal warning system that fires when it crosses from accurate into fabricated. This does not mean AI is unreliable for everything. It means you should never use AI output for specific factual claims without checking them independently. For writing, brainstorming, structuring ideas, creating outlines, and drafting content. Hallucination is rarely a serious problem. For specific statistics, dates, names, research citations, and anything you plan to present as fact, always verify the source. Think of AI like a brilliant colleague who has read everything but occasionally misremembers details with total confidence. You would trust their thinking. You would not trust their footnotes without checking. Knowing this word and what it means will save you from publishing something embarrassing. Keep it in mind every time you use AI for research. Word 5. Automation. Automation gets used so broadly that it has started to mean everything and nothing simultaneously. Here is the plain English version. Automation is a system that runs tasks without you manually triggering each one. You set it up once. It runs on its own from that point forward. You probably already use automation without calling it that. When someone signs up for your email list and immediately receives a welcome email, that is automation. You did not manually send that email every time. You built the sequence once and it fires automatically every time someone new joins. In the context of AI and building income online, automation means connecting tools so that when one thing happens, another thing happens automatically without you in the middle. A customer buys a product and receives a delivery email automatically. A new video publishes and a social post goes out automatically. Content gets created, formatted, and scheduled without you touching it each time. The reason this matters so much for beginners is simple. You have a limited number of hours every day. Every task that runs automatically is a task that does not require your time. And tasks that do not require your time can run while you sleep, while you work, while you live your actual life. That is what people mean when they talk about building something passive. Automation is how passive actually happens. Word 6. Agent. This is the word getting used most in AI conversations right now, and it is also the one most people are least clear on. An agent is an AI that takes actions on your behalf without you supervising every step. Here is the difference between a regular AI tool and an agent. When you use Claude to write something, you give it a prompt and it gives you a response. One exchange. You are in control of every single step. An agent works differently. You give it a goal rather than a single task. Something like, research this topic, find the 5 most relevant sources, summarize the key points, and draft an outline for a video script. The agent figures out the individual steps required, executes them in sequence, checks its own work, and delivers the finished result. You are not involved in any of the middle steps. Think of the difference between a tool and a capable colleague. A tool does exactly what you tell it right now. A capable colleague understands the goal, figures out how to get there, and comes back when it is done. Agents are AI moving from tool behavior toward colleague behavior. For beginners building income online, this matters because agents are making it genuinely possible to automate complex multi-step tasks that used to require constant human attention. Research, content creation, scheduling, customer communication. These are the tasks that eat your limited daily time. Agents are starting to handle them. Word 7. Workflow. A workflow is a sequence of connected steps that run in a specific order to complete a larger task. In plain English, it is the system behind a result. Every time you produce something the same way consistently, you are following a workflow, whether you have written it down or not. Here is a real example from this channel. Every video follows the same sequence. Research the topic, write the script, produce the video, create the thumbnail, write the description, Schedule the upload. Share on social media. Each step connects to the next. The output of one step becomes the input of the next. That entire sequence from start to finish is a workflow. The reason this word matters for beginners is that AI makes workflows dramatically faster and more consistent. Steps that used to require hours of manual effort, writing, designing, researching, scheduling, can now be handled by AI tools within the workflow. You are not changing what needs to happen. You are changing how much of your time and energy each step requires. When someone says, "I automated my workflow," they mean they connected AI tools to handle the manual steps inside their sequence so the whole thing runs faster with significantly less of their direct involvement. That is all 7 words. Prompt, model, generative AI, hallucination, automation, agent, workflow. Here is what I want you to do right now. Pick the one word from this list that you have heard the most but understood the least. Open Claude and type this. Can you give me 3 specific real-world examples of that word applied to someone building an online income stream as a complete beginner? The examples Claude gives you will make the definition click in a way that no video explanation fully can, because they will be specific to exactly what you are trying to build. Next week, we are going one level deeper. The AI terms that start appearing once you are past the basics, the words you will encounter as you go further into building with these tools. If this channel is making AI feel less overwhelming every week, subscribe now so you do not miss it. That is exactly what I put out every single week. I will see you in the next one.